What's up, everyone? Welcome back to Mat Matters Podcast, the show where we connect the lessons from the mats to real life. I'm your host, Derving, and today we are diving into something more powerful. We're talking about overcoming disabilities, not just in sports, but in life. I want to highlight a few people who prove that limitations don't have to hold you back. In fact, they can make you unstoppable. We'll be talking about legends like Jacques Machado, Anthony Robles, Nick Newell, and David Goggins, four individuals who turned what others saw as weaknesses into strength. This episode isn't about feeling sorry for anyone. It's about recognizing what's possible when you refuse to quit. Let's get into it. Jacques Machado, adaptation over excuses. Jacques Machado is one of the greatest Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu practitioners of all time. He was born with no fingers on his left hand. Most people would have looked at that and said, well, I guess grappling is not for me. But Jacques did the opposite. He adapted. Since he couldn't rely on grips, he built a jiu-jitsu game centered around underhooks, overhooks, and body control. That's why his no-gi game was so far ahead of his time. He didn't try to fight like everyone else. He found a way to make his version of jiu-jitsu work. And that's a lesson we can all take, whether you're dealing with an injury, limited mobility, or just life getting in the way. Patience is a skill. If you can adapt, you can grow. Sometimes your limitations are really your greatest teacher. The Robles, the one-legged national champion. Anthony Robles' story still gives me chill. He was born without his right leg, but that didn't stop him from becoming an NCAA wrestling national champion. He built his wrestling style completely around his strength. His upper body power was ridiculous. His balance was unmatched, and mentally on another level. Anthony didn't want special treatment. He competed on the same rules, same weight classes against fully able-bodied athletes, and won. He once said, I wrestle because I love wrestling, not to prove anything. That quote says it all. He wasn't fighting against people's doubts. He was chasing his potential. That mindset, focusing on what you can do instead of what you can, is the foundation of success in everything, not just in sports. Nick Newell, the one-arm fighter. Now let's move to MMA. Nick Newell, born with one arm, but never once let that define him. Nick fought professionally, a record most fighters dream of, and even competed for a world title. He finished opponents with submissions, knocked people out, and he did it all while people kept telling him he couldn't. That's inspiring. What's inspiring about Nick is that he didn't want to be a motivational story. He wanted to be respected as a fighter. He said, I don't want people to feel sorry for me. I want them to see me as a competitor. That's the energy I love. He wasn't chasing sympathy. He was chasing greatness. His story reminds me that excuses are just comfort zones with nice packaging. You can either find reasons not to do something or find ways to get it done. Nick always found a way. Last but not least, David Goggins, mind over everything. He wasn't born with a physical disability like others, but his story fits right because he battled something even tougher, his mind. He grew up abused, overweight, depressed, and stuck in a cycle of pain. But he made a choice to take control. He went from being over 300 pounds to becoming a Navy SEAL, an ultra-marathon runner, and one of the most mentally tough humans alive. Goggins said, you have to build calluses on your mind. That's exactly what all these stories have in common. They all faced something that could have broke them, but instead, it hardened them. They developed calluses not just on their hands, but on their souls. Here's the truth. Everyone's fighting something. Maybe it's not visible, maybe it's not physical, but it's there. You might be dealing with injury, doubt, anxiety, or setbacks. But if Jacques Machado could master a gripless jiu-jitsu, if Anthony Robles could dominate with one leg, if Nick Newell could fight with one arm, and if David Goggins could turn pain into power, then you can overcome your challenges too. It's not what you're missing, it's what you do with what you have. Remember, you can control the hand you're dealt, but you can absolutely control how you play it. If this episode hit home, do me a favor. Share it with someone who might need an extra push today. Follow Mat Matters Podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube. Leave a review, drop a comment, and let me know whose story inspired you the most. Until next time, keep showing up, keep rolling, and remember, the mat always tells the truth.